One lesson I've learned that I'll take through school is that not only can you change how you see the world, yourself, and the things in the world that happen, but you can also share that with others so they can see it as well. Not only you, but other people's struggles and how they face challenges in the world.
The Shades project started in September 2021, and it started off as a pilot project just after the COVID-19 pandemic and the unlawful killing of George Floyd. And the thoughts around what the Church of England's vision was around racial justice and how we were going to move forward in terms of education and the flourishing for all, and also on the back of the Lament to Action report. And so we decided to launch a pilot project that was to support churches and schools and really helping to embed anti-racist practice within our education system so that there was equity for all. And so it was an unknown journey of sorts, but it's been a real passion and joy to see how the project's been embraced and valued by our parishes and also by our schools.
Thinking about racial justice and how Shades has changed the culture, certainly of the work in all our schools in our multi-academy trust, I look at it that how it marries with the Church of England's vision for education. So there's a centre which is life in all its fullness. And at the centre of all we do, God is God's love. And Shades fits into that beautifully. And then that permeates into worship, spirituality through school, spirituality through the curriculum, then into the curriculum and the wider curriculum. So Shades is an integral foundation stone for us in our schools.
I think the group empowers people to say racism and prejudice is a massive issue, but you can do something about it. And that starts with one person at a time, one conversation. And so the project is brilliant because it helps you do something about it.
I think one of the things that Shades has really helped with is opening a way for people to have conversations about difficult things. And that's because it comes out of people's real experience. When you have something that allows people to step inside someone else's world, the way that they experience things around them, the way that they particularly experience prejudice, has allowed people to have a conversation about something for which there's no vocabulary that's generally accepted in a lot of our societies, and people are frightened of having those conversations. So to create a framework for that conversation creates an accountability for it, because once you've started that conversation, you can't just put it away. You can't pretend that people's experiences don't exist. That means that you have to confront them. That means you have to challenge some of your own prejudices, and it means that there's an honesty and an integrity to that process as well. And that's a really natural thing and a really Christian thing too.
Partly why our churches and schools need to prioritise racial justice work is that it takes us to the very heart of the gospel and the command of God to love one another, and also to recognise in each person we meet the image of God the Creator, who loves us across our wonderful diversity. So when Genesis says, God saw all that it made, and indeed it was very good. And so regardless of the colour of our skin, our background, our ethnicity, our history, our character, whatever it is, to recognise the beauty of God in each person. And also, I want to say very clearly, we need to prioritise it, because racism is a sin that is offensive to God, that wounds the heart of Jesus Christ. When he sees that racism, be it in the church or anywhere, then we have to name it for what it is. It's a sin that separates us from God. And so it takes us to the joy of the gospel. It takes us to the call of the gospel. But that also involves sometimes naming things that are hard and painful for what they are. And that's some of the reasons I think it matters to our churches and our schools.
the future of the project is really in the hands of children and young people, which is really exciting because we have groups that are dotted around the city who have big dreams to end racism. And so what we can see is that schools and parishes are really getting on board, and they are embedding this in the fabric of what they do and in their ethos, and they are taking the lead in this work. And so we've gone from a small number of schools and churches being involved to now lots of different schools and churches being involved. And I think that's how we really have this impact and this change, because everyone is uniting together on this work and they are taking the lead in this work. And so I would say that the world is our oyster, and what we really hope to do is to reduce those numbers of children and young people who are experiencing racism within the education system and within our schools, and really making that number zero so that every child can have the same equitable future and opportunities that any other child that's there, regardless of their race, their background or their culture.
I feel that it's important to stand up to racism because I feel like not many people are educated on the kind of like the deeper roots of racism, because I feel like the one kind of like misassumption of racism is telling like a joke about someone and it being called banter, but then when in doubt you don't really know the impacts it has on that person, and it is very much racist.
Being a Shades ambassador has developed my relationship with God, because in the Bible it says love your neighbours, and as a Shades ambassador I've learned to follow this and how to teach others like how to follow it and how to be kind to everyone.